Desktop, let's get that going. Okay. All right. Audio input to studio only, just webcam. I don't know if we would ever want that, but if we did, there it is. Okay. FB. I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to be. Facebook, yes. Premiere. Okay. There we go. Yes. Premiere Pro for scaling. Okay. Okay. So do that. Huh, interesting. There we go. Hello. I can hear. I think I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Oh, brilliant.
What? I can still hear the phone ringing, like, in the background.
Ah, that's because my speakers are on, probably. Yeah, I don't
Right,
have.
okay. How did this happen? Did you do something at your end?
No, sir, I did not. I think you did something at your end.
God, bless you. I've pushed that many bloody buttons. I hate Windows 10, did I tell you?
I hate it, man. It's been a huge pain in my ass, and you know, it's ironic, but like I bought a brand new, really expensive and souped up machine with a liquid cooled video card, and
Yeah?
I had a couple programs. In particular, I bought like a scripting program called Final Draft. I bought the
Yeah?
latest version. They're like, "Yeah, sorry, it doesn't work with Windows Home." I'm like, "What?
Yeah?
$300?"
Yeah. I've had so many programs screwed up by it. Oh, right. Are you still there, Brent?
Yes, sir.
Oh, lovely. Oh, that's perfect.
So,
Well, no.
are you
Well,
are you in the chat? I sent you a link that you should be able to click on, And this
Hang
way,
on, just bear with me because I'm not working very well today. But anyway, yes, I've got you the chat link. Yeah, it's all there. What's this?
so this
Render contest?
will be
Disciple 3D?
yeah, but it's just a configuration on the title. The title I change after the fact. When I first launch it, you have to have like a just a default title when you live stream. I haven't changed it. Sorry about
Yeah.
that. But
Before we go
now,
any further, Brent,
yes,
before
sir.
we go any further, before we go any further, is there any way I can lock these settings in
Um,
so that we switch on again, we'll have none of this
I mean,
messing around?
it's funny because I don't know what caused the problem. So I
No.
will tell you this: the new version of Skype, it's really picky. Sometimes when you have Skype, it will stop the other things from working, and vice versa.
I
So, like,
know. To be honest with you, Brent, that was why I took Skype out. I was having enough trouble with Windows 10.
well, not for nothing, but like all these shortcuts that we use in Dash Studio and a lot of other programs, Control E will close out any Skype chat, and
Yeah.
you can't change that. So that really sucks. So
Okay.
let's if you'll pop into that. If you
Yeah.
look, are you looking at the Disciple 3D, right?
Yeah.
So type something in the chat. I just want to see what it looks like, and then
Well,
maybe.
it's come up when you.
Pardon? I want to see what the. So you see the chat window to your right hand side of the Disciple
Yes.
3D stuff. Just type something in there, and hit.
Okay, I'll just type something in here.
All I'm doing is checking the latency, so I realize how long I'm going to need for you to see. Normally, what I would do on a lesson like this is I would actually. There we go. So how long ago did you type it? I just saw it.
Yeah.
So like 30
Just
seconds,
put in.
something like 30 seconds, right? Okay, so that gives me a little bit of a go-to. So normally I was going to say I would share Skype. We would be on Skype, and I
Let
would
me just put
share
a
my.
pause on this.
Pardon?
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
You
have I done? So
pardon?
I've left it running.
You
I
left.
paused it.
Oh yeah, you need to leave it running.
Okay, I thought so.
If
Sorry.
you want to try Skype, Skype will be a little more real time than looking at that screen. You know, but either way, we can go like this if you want.
Right.
So what would you want to try to just keep going like this, or do you want to try Skype?
Yeah.
Which?
Well, I'm all right with this.
Okay, let's go. Then I'll just take off then. Okay, cool. So let me see. I don't think there's. Well, you know what? If I share my video, hold on a second here. If I turn my video on, there is a functionality in here in this Skype call that's supposed to allow me to do. Oh, it's because we didn't call with the video, but I tried turning it on and it wouldn't work. So I don't know. That may not be an option. Because if I could share the screen, that would be super quick for you. Can I call you right back on this?
Yes, you can.
Let's try that. I'm gonna call you right
back.
back.
Crossover here.
But I'm gonna do video call and see if that's any different. Okay, stand by. Close, and then I'm gonna go down to Facebook and I'm gonna go video call. Oh, this is lovely. Okay, sorry guys. I was just typing to Dave. We're having some connectivity issues, but that's not all that surprising. So I'm going to do this a little bit backwards. I'm going to actually switch over to DAZ Studio, and what I'm going to do is, no, I'm sorry. I'm going to actually switch to Premiere if it lets me. Let's see. Oh no, it's not showing me Premiere, so we'll just do Desktop, and we'll see Premiere that way as well as my video camera. Sorry about that, guys. I got to see my ugly face for a hot minute. Okay, so what we do with making renders, and I think it's kind of similar to Poser in that we don't actually make movie. You can make a movie, but there's all kinds of good reasons not to do that. It looks better, and you have a lot more control over it if you stick with doggone it. This better not be to have done what I think it did. Okay, so that says that. So, just got to figure out where I was rendering to. Cold shower, sequences, cold shower, sequences, cold shower. One more time. Sequences, cold shower. I'm trying to show you what we actually just rendered, and that is the problem with, let's just make sure we didn't render to the location I was previously rendering in real quick. Zombie parking lot, image sequences. I bet that's what happened. Man, it's hard on your memory, I will say that. Okay, so there we go. No. Okay, so clearly I rendered in the wrong folder. I've just got to figure that out real fast. But I got a bunch of renders, so we'll just open this up real quick. Blank. Save that just so I don't have to go through all that again. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Just clearing the scene here, guys. Saving the scene, and then going to reload my old scene to figure out where I put the last renders because they did not go where I thought they went. So sort by modified. That's really aggravating when I make that mistake. But you know, it happens. I believe it's here somewhere, and I think I may have just put it in the wrong folder. I was going to go through the process of, here it is. Yep, put them in the wrong folder. Okay, so with those selected, I'm just going to pull them into the correct folder before importing into. Now, you may already use this method, Dave, if you're watching, but just in case you don't, I'm going to show you how I do it. I'm totally a Adobe guy, so it's all Adobe Premiere for me for things like this. So what I did was, let me just import this as an image sequence real quick. So you see how you have this option, image sequence, so you don't import the individual videos. And then from there I just go new sequence from clip. And then I will import my audio file that I used to actually make the animated pose for the mouth. Sometimes this works better than others, but in this case, let's see. One is so this is me vocalizing it for the animation. Sounds crappy, and
oh my god, it's like so hot out here, I'd kill for a cold shower.
Super accurate, super accurate. Sounds just like her. Okay, but what we're really going to do is we're going to go and get a little animated. Now, if I were serious about this, I would get an actress voice, you know, obviously. but this is just for fun. So I think I had something called, oh my god, OMG, let's see, this might be the version where I did a little editing to try to make it sound different. So I'm going to figure that out real quick.
Oh my god.
There we go. So I use Blaster Online for that, which is a tool for using voices. So now I just have to get the phrasing.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god.
Oh my god.
So I think my version is a little, obviously it was based on that. So these can be better sometimes than others, like I mentioned, but I'm just going to go through here and super quick kind of get this in shape and so that it sort of matches what I got phrase-wise. When I actually do this to demonstrate, you know, this might be another video, but I can kind of show you. Okay, so that's not so far off. Now, here we go.
Oh my god. It's like so hot out here. I'd kill for a cold shower.
Okay, close enough for rock and roll. So there we go. Then what I'll do is I'll just I know this is going to be cut into a larger sequence, so I'm not going to worry with fading in and fading out. I'm just going to render a clean version of it in a folder called pre-renders. A good reason for doing pre-renders is because it doesn't bog your machine down later. Always match settings to get it without these lines. And I actually have a visual effect in mind for, you know what? In fact, I could. I'm gonna render it clean, but I will put a flare on that eventually to make this look more like a more dynamic scene. Now, the point of this video is actually to advertise the HDRI collection that you sort of see as that's serving as my backdrop here. Wait a minute, did I? I don't think I even did that right. Let me do that again. All right, so match settings. Cold set. Yeah. You know what? That's fine. All right, so get out of this, and then we're going to set something up new. So I do want to rename that while I'm still thinking about it. There we go. And then obviously it's all good.
Oh my god. It's like so hot out here. I'd kill for a cold shower.
Close enough. It's believable. Okay. Are you there? If you're not, I can show you this after the fact. Okay. So I have opened up a previous scene, and the whole point of that was just to see where I had saved it. Obviously, I put it in the wrong folder again. But anywho, so let's set up a new animation. So this is actually the character that I'm using, and what I probably should have done was, all right, so I can sense there's no customizations to that. All right, we'll go back to here. I'm gonna create the animation without having all this stuff on, and then I'll add that stuff at the end. That's just good policy, because sometimes Dad Studio can run out of memory, and you're kind of in a fix then. And actually, I'm gonna just focus on animation for this one, not so much the prospect of having it talk. I just broke one of my own rules, because if you actually close out Dash Studio, it's much quicker than waiting on it to clear the scene. What a drag, man. What a drag. While that's clearing the scene, I'll jump back to Premiere for a second. Actually, I'll just go desktop. That's quicker because... so what I'll do is I just exported that clean, and I'll just re-import it pre-rendered, right? And you understand why, because that just makes it so much easier to deal with. OMG, so hot. and then I'll make a new folder, sequence, new sequence. Now, I don't know about using the flare inside of Studio. Okay, lens flare, I can do that. I can do that right here inside of Premiere. So if I put on lens flare, all right, you can change the kind of lens flare you got. I'm probably going to go with a prime flare. 5mm. I definitely like the prime. That's the pretty one. So obviously that would be coming off of the sun. So we just got to line that up. Definitely prime.
Oh my god, it's like so. Oh my god, it's like so hot down here. I'd kill for
Now to really make this work, I need to re-render this scene with her with the background cut out. In other words, just the character without the background. But just for now, I'm gonna just save that. I won't re-render that. It does kind of sell that it's not just a photo backdrop, right? Like, because you're actually looking at it with a lens that ostensibly is supposed to be a real lens that has real glass, and you have the star effect. But definitely, I would have it where when her hat goes over, it kind of blocks out this little portion right here, and I can totally do that. I can accomplish that with 2 different renders. But here we go. So I'm just checking the window again here. Okay, Dave's still with me. Good deal, my man. All right, so lesson for Dave. We go to Daz Studios, so I have to stop looking at my ugly face. All right, so there are things in Daz Studio called Ani-blocks. I think this is a free add-on now, but Animate 2, you would go in the Daz store and look for Animate 2, purchase it. I believe it's free, Animate and Animate 2. The reason you want both is because they come with pre-built Ani-blocks, which are just little animations that you can apply that will basically add the number of frames needed to run that animation from the point that you enter them, actually from the first frame. So if there aren't enough frames, they'll add it on, and you can preview them. That's the really sweet part. I'm going to sort of show you how those work. Let's see here. I don't think you can actually find Animate in this way and start in Smart Content. Well, there's a sampler for M4 V2 right there. That's a free product. I'm 90% sure these were definitely free products, but people are still making stuff like this. So let's look at this. This is an animation. It's not an Ani-block, and here's how you can tell the difference. Okay, I'm going to show you. So we're going to go Panels, scroll down, turn on Timeline. I don't like how this panel works, but if you have 2 monitors, it's really ideal for it. Right now, because of my VR, I don't have my other monitor configured. And so this is one way. This is just a straight out animation. Okay. So let's see. I'm trying to think of something that she can do that makes sense. So let's give her this idle animation. We'll just double click with the figure selected. Information beyond the link. So it's asking me to add frames. Sure, we're going to add frames. Turn limits off. Okay, so now from this point right here, it works just like posers. So that's our little animation, right? Okay, so now I've established that I'm shooting in 16:9 aspect ratio. This method right here is just exactly like poser. I'm doing 16:9, which will give me that, and then I can make it bigger if I want and squash it down, so it's even higher resolution, but that increases your render time. So if I were going to render this, make a shot here, what I would do is I go ahead and kind of use my perspective camera to determine where I want to. Let's tell you what we'll do. We'll make a 30 frame. We'll make a 30 frame animation real quick. And it's all it's going to be. So another thing you can do here with the timeline is you can go total 30, and that'll cut it down. And so it doesn't matter about the animation that's off the timeline because we're only dealing with this. So we're going to actually make a quick little animation because I'm going to show you a few settings here. So she just basically sinks in, okay? And I'm keeping this intentionally lightweight. So if we go here, just because I've been working with this recently, it'll probably already, oh, it doesn't have it. That's good. So this here is just the default HDRI that comes when you load up a DAZ scene. Okay, so we're going to call this Dave's Animation. Dave's Animation. Double click that. There we go. We want to set and render set. By the way, this is the render tab, so you can have this out of the way. But I am going to add a camera move, so I'm not closing that just yet. So there's our image path. We want to go direct to file, but no, we want to actually select right here, image series. Okay, so we're going to go here, put it in Dave's Animation, and we'll call it Shuffle. All right, cool. 1920 under progressive render, we want to enable render quality enable, but we want to change this to 15. And actually, you know what? Since there's nothing in this scene, we can make this even faster. Okay, we're going to try 5. Now, if this were something I was seriously going to be using, like if I wanted to have a ghost figure of the character moving around for whatever reason, you know, without the backdrop, I would do a test render to make sure it's okay. But this is going to be quick. So, environment. We're going to go draw dome is turned off, draw ground is on, so we're going to turn that off. So we're going to have she's just going to be this figure, right? And it would go into a sequence of this size, but this should go really fast. So dome and scene. So the preview camera has a light turned on. If I did not want this shining in her face, or I wanted to animate the camera, I would go create new camera. Just call it camera 1, apply active viewport transforms, do that little thing right there. Now if there was a background, I would worry about depth of field. There's not, so I'm not even going to bother with that. So with that selected, go to parameters, going to pop down the headlight, turn the headlight off because we hate a headlight on. Camera view. Now just to get a previs, you can go into the auxiliary viewport, put it on camera, change this. I've already got it changed, so it's actually that's a render preview right there. That's what it's going to look like. Okay, so now we're going to go into this camera mode with the camera selected. We're going to make sure we got a keyframe on 1, and all I'm going to do, actually I'm going to start like this. So all I'm going to do is we're just going to rotate around her. So there's our keyframe on our camera. Now we're just going to go to maybe 15, and actually we'll go, yeah, okay, that'll be fine. And then you don't actually have to, it'll put a keyframe here, but I sometimes will hit that keyframe just out of habit with poser. So this here is going to have the middle keyframe, and then I'm going to jump to 29, and then I'm going to do this. So that's my ending shot right there. Okay. Now, if it is set up right, it does exactly that. Yeah, okay, so that's the whole thing. Now, that's not super smooth, right? Like, that's not super smooth at all. But if I wanted, let's say I wanted to delete that camera, you have to kind of like highlight this whole thing. It's a real pain in the butt the way you have to stretch this out. Okay. You got to go in here, and you actually had to manually grab those. And you can't delete because that'll delete the figure. You right click, you go delete keys, delete selected keys. Boom. So now I'm just kind of doing a few little common things here that just sort of help me get around the corner with DAZ Studio Animation. There we go. And I don't like how it's so high there, so I'm going to just grab it right there, and that's just will be pretty smooth. Let's see. There we go. So that's our animation. So we don't want to leave this on because that's using up, make sure we have on a different tab so we're not using that. So here we go. Shuffle, Dave's animation is all good. Rendering 30 frames. You can choose any number. If you're doing a big render that's going to take a long time, you need to get back on your computer. You can go stop it and then set it up to start where you stopped. And so you can break it up that way, which is pretty useful. But at 5 seconds, this is going to render pretty quick because it's only 30 frames. So here we go. Once again, Dave's animation, we're going to hit render I'm going to let that run. We'll see how quick that does it. I got to charge my 360 camera because I am off to a long trip and I want to take some 360s up near the mountains where I'm going this afternoon. So let's see what's going on. Transition. Talk a little bit about some of the products out there. So if you go to Dash 3D and you just type in animations, here's some good ones. Mocap Online has a lot, and he has this. This doesn't load very well for me on Sketchfab, but it shows all the examples. And so these are Aniblocks, and I'll show you how those work. Pretty much just like animations. The difference is they're a little bit tougher to serial link together, but I think that's probably just user error on my part. But if you look, there's zombies. Oh, there's dog animation for the Great Dane, which is pretty cool. So a lot of cool stuff already kind of built out there, and you know, it's falling right into what I'm doing since I'm making a zombie parking lot video. You know, a little scared. You know. Let's see here. Slower. What? You can't render this fast on. You can't render. I'm already at frame 22, dude. Like I'm gonna have like 5 minutes in this animation, if that. Oh, this is weird. We're looking at a weird window here. Let's go to Dash Studio, Transition. Now we don't have to see me. That's cool. Okay. All right, so that animation is finished, y'all. So now we'll go back to desktop. I will pull up this. I will go make a quick little clip out of that so you can see what it looked like. We'll import Dave animation, image sequence. So you see, like you can get the render time down really, really tight. Like I pretty much don't go lower than 15 because I want a certain amount of like, you know, finesse on there. But right there, there's your animation. 5 minutes, no, less than 5 minutes. How long did that take? Less than 5 minutes to render that. Now, you can say what you want. I've never seen a poser render that fast. Not by a darn sight. Usually I'll have to walk away. But let's go back and look at some, let's look at some Aniblocks and how those work, okay? All right, so we'll just, for argument's sake, we'll just switch back to this, okay? So, Aniblocks. With her selected, I'll go to Connect. Can't wait. I have a directory for stuff that I bought, but like I cannot wait on Connect for it to show up in Connect, or it's hard to find a Connect. So I made my own library. Connect. Gosh, my whole dev folders are just crazy. Let's see here. Connect. This is hard to find. I really need to take out some of these old libraries. Okay, so Mocap Online, just say female, zombie animation. So you just mouse over it and it shows you the animation. Hopefully you're impressed by that, because I know I was. So like, let's say that you're gonna have your zombie run through a scene. You can get something where there's a run. Some of them are loops, some of them are not. Okay, so you want to have her walk through your scene. So you can apply that. I would love it if it would apply it to the end, but it doesn't actually. It applies it right to the very beginning. So, what? Okay, this might be because I had the animation on there. Let's try that again. All right, so Yeah, it's a loop. Okay, so yeah, it is a loop. So you can have her walk into, set up your camera, you know, and she could like walk into the shot or whatever. You just go to the end frame. This is where you want to be, and set your camera up here, make a new camera, and then she ultimately walks into the shot. Like that's something I could totally use. Yeah. All right. I don't know who she's waving at. And there's a huge variety of these things too. I think they tend to overwrite the previous one, is my guess, because poser mocap, just say female. There we go. Carrying a box. Some of them take them on a path. Walking upstairs, sitting down, standing up. I mean, I gather you're kind of getting the sense of it. So you can totally see what it's going to do before you actually do it. And then there's ways to go in and obviously customize the hands. That's one thing I do like about these. It leaves the hands alone. They're basically just in kind of a neutral pose. Pose mocap online. So, too long-winded. All right, so ask some questions. Well, you need to know that you don't know. All right, so too many panels complaint. It's just a familiarity with them now. As far as seeing what you're seeing on mine with all those libraries, that's because I develop products, and like I have to have a clean library for each product to save out the zip file. You wouldn't be dealing with that. The panels can be simplified as well. You can totally customize this. What I do is I have just the stuff that I work with open. Like there's not a ton of stuff. Let me show you. That studio. So like I know you're not sold on Dat Studio, and I get that, but check this out. You have pre-made work layouts that they're just so many, and they can really simplify the look of the software. You know, you don't. This has it like laid out like Poser. Remember that? That's like Poser style right there, dude, all the way. Hope you're seeing this. So, you know, obviously the pose and animate interface is a lot more like Poser. By the way, this is Animate 2 right here that we're seeing in this interface, and you can actually loop these. I was reading about this, that you can just add various. So I haven't even messed with this yet. I was just using probably the wrong interface for what I was doing so far. So this is just illustrating how you can loop together. Why is that doing that? How you can loop together different. Yeah, I'm going to be using this real shortly. I just didn't realize that I needed to change my work layout. But like, so that's set up for that, you know, and then you do this and got all your shaping and smart content surfaces are laid out horizontally, which I've become really accustomed to the other method. But as long as you can get the window, you can select layout and try these different ones. But like what I'm saying, as far as you can have it very simple as far as tabs go. And this right here again is laid out like Poser, if you'll recall. But anyway, Avatar Builder. This is my main print animation, which really, now that I see it, I probably should go with something else, another layout for that. But iPoser is crap. Well, did you get what I'm saying though? You can kind of, if you take the time to set it up the way you want it, you go, hey, objectively, what do I need? You may not need the surfaces tab. You may never change the surfaces on your figure, so why have the surfaces tab? You may never use active viewports. I never use the posing tab right here, for example. So this is just taking up space. I can just go right click, close pane. You see how easy that is? Shaping, I never use the shaping tab, hardly ever. Close pane. And if I want to get it back, I can turn it on manually here. Um, see, super easy. So what you kind of got to arrive at is just get enough usability so you understand it. By the way, these are totally movable. You can put them anywhere you want them. I kind of like having the auxiliary at the top, scene right below it, and parameters right below that. That's what I become used to. Over here, draw settings. There's another one that I never use. Close, and I just hadn't even. I'm used to kind of measure metrics. Never use that one. So I could close all this and then save that layout is what exactly that I need. So I mean, I don't really think that the argument holds water that there's too many panels because it's an option. You can change it. You can have no panels really. I mean, you can if that's what you want. You just want to work with smart content. So yeah, the world is your oyster, Daddy-o. It's just that teaching an old dog new tricks thing that you got to get over. Um, I mean, we've all done it, right? But I find it to be very, very fast and much faster than Poser. That's me. The one thing I would say I did like about the Poser animation tools was that you could really infinitely expand that animation palette as large as your large as your screen. Um, So the product that I'm using, so Mimic is you've used Mimic before, I believe, right? Like Mimic, it's a tool that do I even have it installed? Let's look. Mimic. Um, let's see. I go to workspace. No, not there. About install plugins. Mimic 2 should be Mimic 2. I got Mimic Live, which basically lets you live perform as well, but it's based on not your facial expressions, and it just kind of puts generic facial expressions, but it's based on your audio, so that's a little bit different. But yeah, man, I mean, come up with some, yeah, there's Mimic 2 now, like Mimic 2 is definitely Mimic 2. I should just do Mimic. Mimic Pro. Am I not seeing it? It may not be available. It might have been like, um, replaced with something else. Little Mimic Live. That's what everybody has. Ooh, that's not free. That's an old version though. The new version actually is. I don't know why it's even out there like that. Face Mojo is what I'm using now, and it uses the depth camera. Of course, you pretty much got. I got this bundle because I wanted to have it all, but you got to use some good videos on how to use it too. So correct. It only works. Well, no, I mean it only you can export it to use another software. I don't know about Poser, but I don't know. Maybe Poser will make a comeback. I would love to see that. I mean, first they got to get past the crap renderer they got, and I'd like for them to support NVIDIA and iRay. They probably will never do that because they'd have to then compete with a program that's way ahead as far as functionality and usability, if you ask most of us. But yeah, I think it's arguable, I guess. But I think like the future kind of is DAZ Studio or some product like it. But that's my super quick down and dirty overview for animating, and I'm going to get into more specifics about animating onto paths. I'm basically just learning this as I need to use it for this little project that I'm doing right now. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I'd love to see you get back into it and have somebody to work with on these various things. And I definitely want to get you to do a character in my little skit. That would be fantastic. They're getting better. They're getting better. This is a. I mean, I could say things about this that I don't love, but like the reason I left it super shiny is because the point is to advertise that HDRI, and all the little shiny stuff lets you see those reflections, and I think that kind of highlights it. But yeah, we're moving forward. But anyway, that's 45 minutes on how to animate, and I know you probably knew all this. I just wanted you to see it done in DAZ Studio so you could see that it's not that hard. And yeah, there's lots and lots of tutorials out there. So it's ironic because I actually think of now, because I've kind of forgotten Poser, I think of Poser as being the complicated thing. Like I have to relearn the usability. At first, when I got a hold of the interface, I thought it was super intuitive, but then after I walked away from it, I've been using DAZ. DAZ is much more like Adobe, which is the world that I live in. So, you know, it just makes all kinds of sense for me. But anyway, I'm going to probably end the stream right there. I got to get ready for my trip. But good talking to you. And if you have some questions, let me know. But I definitely want to, if you're up for it, I want to get you to do a voice for my little skit. I think it'd be funny. I have a little gag in mind. I won't make you swallow any flies. Okay, so for future watchers, thanks for watching. I hope this has been at least entertaining. And